Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Taco Tuesday. Christine Alaska's in the house. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Vicky B made it in. I was chatting with Angie Baby before the show. Cousin Trixie is in here. Britt 1027 has just become a new YouTube member. OJ, get back, please. I don't need you right now, OJ. Hello, River Mom. So glad to see you guys. There's Joy Jones, Debbie Keenan, our girl TCB, True Crime Bee, Avie. What's up, girl? Slim Hauser, Savvy Sav. If I missed anybody, I truly apologize. So, what in the panhandle is going on? Yes, I read the documents yesterday. Yes, they are concerning. Let me tell you. When Oklahoma wants to do something, boy, I tell you what, they do it right. They do it right. And people judge me for not traveling out to the panhandle to interview the devil's rejects. They call themselves God's Misfits. Well, there's something that God's Misfits did not learn in school. I doubt they have internet considering, well, where they are, and they're in county jail. Freaking idiots. And I believe there will be more arrests. This investigation is nowhere near over. But this is something small, huge to me, that they missed in school.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One nation under God. You don't get to have your own laws and call yourself a sovereign nation. Doesn't work that way. Well, we have some new people in here, some old friends. We're all together on this Taco Tuesday. Let's take a second, Baptist style, not God Misfit style. Tell everyone, Happy Tuesday. Say hello to your neighbor. Again, so glad you are here. Welcome your neighbors. Just get settled in. What did Tiffany Adams, her boyfriend Tad, Cole, and Cora not understand that you can live how you want? You really can. But there's laws you have to abide by. It does not leave my memory that Panhandle Granny threatened a judge about taking her grandkids from her. They are cultish. Crazy Granny has been in trouble for stalking the mother of her grandchildren. She had an assault and battery felony in 2019 with a weapon. And she beat the dog piss out of her boyfriend, Tad, with a hot water hose back in 2018. What a couple. What a couple. There are many, many, many allegations against Veronica. Many. And a lot of them she has admitted to. The essay from her brother, she didn't admit to that. That's still alleged. The turkeys at her grandma's farm that were pecking the shit out of the kids. One kid was bit by a dog. They had someone in place to supervise these visits. Panhandle Granny told her to call in sick. I would too. You know why? Because I don't want to get beat with a hot water hose. That's just me. Not my weapon of choice if I'm going to take a beating. It is rumored, not in the court documents, that Panhandle Granny assumed that Veronica would be alone. This is after she told another woman who was named in the court documents. I'm not going to put her name out there. I'm sure she's getting a lot of new friend requests. She was told just take a few weeks off, call in sick. Hired a babysitter. And they call themselves God's Misfits. They had stun guns, tasers. They had bought burner phones. There was a broken hammer found on scene. Do you know what it would take to break a damn hammer? Think about it. What would it take to break a hammer? All right, let's start going through it, my friends. There's a lot going on here.
New details on the case of the missing Hugoton mothers. Court documents just unsealed today gives us a better idea of what led investigators to arrest 4 people for the murders of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly. KSN Zena Taher combed through all of the affidavits today. Zena?
Julia, investigators found 2 bodies in Texas County, Oklahoma Sunday. They're waiting on the medical examiner's office to identify them, but authorities saying today they're certain Veronica and Jillian are dead.
Listen, when they came across the 2 bodies, and I'm pretty sure they were pinpointed where they were, they're pretty certain who they're looking at. I mean, they're pretty certain who they're looking at. So I do understand. I had some comments from people saying, this is clickbait, Brooks. You don't know if it's them. Listen, I'm not part of the investigation. And I'm not going to lie. Okay? I'm not going to lie. If these 4 scumbags told me where to find Veronica and Jillian, guess what I would have done? I would have called the OSBI. I would not have gone out myself. See, old Brooks doesn't do things like that, but you're in good hands here.
The 4 arrested face murder, kidnapping, and conspiracy charges. Probable cause affidavits allege this cause is rooted in a custody battle over Veronica's kids. A targeted attack on Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly.
This wasn't a random bill.
One of the 4 suspects arrested, the grandmother of Veronica Butler's children. Court documents show Tiffany Adams was in a, quote, problematic custody battle.
Problematic is not the word. Problematic custody battle with Tiffany Adams for the custody of Veronica's children. Now, I would never tell any parent not to fight for their rights, fight for their children, unless it's Don and Candace Wells. I would never say that. But I can bet you right now that if that paperwork had not been filed 10 days before these heinous murders, Veronica and Jillian would be alive. Should they have had a cop meet with them? Sure, maybe that was already the plan. They didn't make it to where they were supposed to meet. Someone else had another plan. Let's say I'm going to hand OJ off to someone. And I say, meet me at the convenience store in Mounds, Oklahoma. Should be easy to find. There's only one. But if I don't make it there, the cop is useless.
With Veronica over the kids she shared with Adam's son. The affidavits show the day Veronica disappeared, she was supposed to meet Adams for a supervised visitation with her kids. Jillian Kelly was supposed to be the supervisor. Jillian was the stand-in. The normal supervisor told investigators Adams told her to take a few weeks off. Jillian and Veronica never.
Nothing sus about that. The normal supervisor was told by Ma Barker, who was Tiffany Adams, to take a few weeks off. Like I have said, in some cases, actually in every case, criminals leave breadcrumbs. They're sprinkled everywhere for the investigators to figure out. These people left entire loaves of bread. Well, look who made it in. It's our girl, Kristen. Hey, Kristen, what's up, girlfriend? Take a few weeks off. Cultish personalities. And I don't know what cop is going to cross state lines to go with them. They've had cops involved for years. I would like to know where the drop-off points were before. Has it always been at the abandoned gas station there in the panhandle of Oklahoma? Or did Ma Barker travel up to Kansas? I don't know. It'll come out.
Supposed to be the supervisor. Jillian was the stand-in. The normal supervisor told investigators Adams told her to take a few weeks off. Jillian and Veronica never made it to the visitation location at Four Corners. That's where the other three suspects come in. Tad Cullum, Adams' boyfriend, according to the affidavit, and Cora Twombly and Cole Twombly, who are married. According to investigators, all four are part of the same anti-government group with religious ties. A family member of the Twombleys allegedly told investigators Cole and Cora blocked the road and diverted Jillian and Veronica to Adams and Cullum. The affidavits don't explain how exactly Veronica and Jillian may have died. What they do specify is blood was found on the road by the car Veronica and Jillian were riding in. Veronica's glasses were found near a broken hammer, and a pistol magazine was found inside Jillian's purse, but there was no gun.
So someone took Jillian's gun. The magazine, pew pew, sorry, I have to use YouTube words as if this is Sesame Street. So the pew pew was gone, but the magazine was still in her purse. I am more freaked out by the broken hammer. Hell, you can build 100 houses. You're not going to break a hammer. Broken glasses, broken hammer, a magazine with no pew-pew attached to it. Doesn't make sense in my world. Again, I'm sure everyone has a hammer around the house, whether it's a tack hammer or a roofing hammer or something. Do you know what it would take to break one? Holy hell.
Anti-government group with religious ties. A family member of the Twombly's allegedly told investigators Cole and Cora blocked the road and diverted Jillian and Veronica to Adams and Cullum. The affidavits don't explain how exactly Veronica and Jillian may have died. What they do specify is blood was found on the road by the car Veronica and Jillian were riding in. Veronica's glasses were found near a broken hammer, and a pistol magazine was found inside Jillian's purse, but there was no gun. In 2022, Veronica filed a protection from stalking order against Adams. She alleged Tiffany stalked her after her kids' ball games. She claimed Tiffany went to a game, but instead of watching, she took pictures of people's license plates on their vehicles. Then Veronica alleged Tiffany drove by her house several times and harassed her. A judge originally granted a temporary protective order, but then denied a final protection from stalking order because Veronica, quote, testified no fear and no threats were made by Tiffany, end quote. This information comes as law enforcement agencies say Veronica and Jillian were singled out for the March attack.
There was not immediate threat to the public. Again, as the sheriff alluded, this was a targeted case.
A probable cause affidavit shows an informant told law enforcement Tiffany and the other suspects in the case made other attempts to kill Veronica. The informant says those happened in February near Hugoton. Documents allege one of the suspects said the plan was to throw an anvil through Butler's windshield as she was driving.
Holy shit. I mean, what are we watching here? What are we witnessing? They thought they were going to get away with this. An anvil through the windshield to make it look like an accident? An anvil? And I hate to tell Captain Obvious here on the news, the medical examiner hasn't said how they died. I've got 2 words for you. Broken hammer. You can't break a damn hammer. Thank you, Kat. She said, I couldn't even lift an anvil, and who drives into an anvil by accident? What kind of Looney Tunes shit had they been watching? Gonna throw an anvil through the windshield to make it look like an accident. The next thing you know, we have a broken hammer. We have heard some wild, wild things coming out of Oklahoma. But I'm telling you something right now. These people they call God's misfits, they take the cake.
To make it look like an accident. The 4 suspects are scheduled to appear in court Wednesday morning, according to court records. Here for you, Zena Taher, KSN News 3.
You've got to be kidding me. Yeah, an anvil just came flying through my windshield. You know, they have very, very strict punishments. For a while, kids thought it was funny to throw rocks over bridges and overpasses as, you know, drivers were coming by. until people were getting killed. Marianne said, when was the last time you heard about a flying anvil? For sure. Especially in an area that's not well populated, not a lot of traffic. So it's not going to be like the anvil salesman with a flatbed trailer was going through and an anvil just happened to fly off his truck. All right, let's get some more of the court documents. This is a reporter. I just adore her. She's just cute as a button, cute as a bug's ear, if you ask me. And she's going through the court documents, and it's insane what they planned, what they premeditated, and the whole 9 yards was to keep Veronica away from the children. That was it. We've heard some crazy, crazy crimes committed over children. I think about the Josh Powell situation. I think about a recent situation in Alabama. I think about the situation in Ohio, Pikeston. I think about the situation in Bardstown, Kentucky. All over custody of a child. Now, I put on the community tab yesterday, what would justify the actions? We have a lot of parents in here. We have a lot of grandparents in here. Do you really think that old Panhandle Clampett, also known as Tiffany Adams, was that upset about the alleged abuse against her grandchildren, or was this about control? The essay from Veronica's brother has never been established or charged, so I don't know. I can't speak on that. The turkeys that went after the kids, that's confirmed. The dog bite is confirmed. Is it control or protection? And there's no fine line with this one. Is it control or protection? I don't know if you've ever read the book, A Time to Kill. It's actually based on a true story. But it comes down to that. Is it control or protection? Everything I'm reading in the multiple court documents that have gone on for many, 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 many years, it comes down to Panhandle Clampett wanted control of everyone.
Hi, Facebook. I just wanted to hop on here. We're on our way back now from Texas County, heading back into Amarillo. Got to get ready for the 5 and 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock news, but I just kind of wanted to go over what we've learned today. There's been a lot of information. I mean, we're still working to get answers that we still haven't heard answers about, but we did get those court records today, and that's where we're learning a lot of new stuff. Originally, we did go to Texas County this morning for a press conference. It was held by OSBI, the FBI, Texas County Sheriff's Department. OHP was supposed to be there, but they couldn't make it. And we were hoping to get a lot of information at that press.
She's giving old Don B a run for his money. She's driving down the road talking. Hang on, I had a question for from the chat from my friends. Hang on. Oh, shoot. Hang on. Dina81 said, did the original social worker not question why they told her to take weeks off? No, she didn't. Do you know why? Because the woman that was supervising did not tell her. She just said she was sick. So they appointed someone else, which is Jillian, who was also murdered. Considering, and I'm not finding a way. Let me find me a way to phrase this without stepping in it big time, which I'm good at. When the woman, her name is Cheryl, was told to call in sick and take a few weeks off, did she know something was about to go down? Because Panhandle Clampett really liked her. She trusted her. She didn't want her around for the next exchange. Remember, 10 days before is when Veronica filed this paperwork. Was the original supervisor told, take a few weeks off? You don't want to be here for the next exchange. If someone told me, take a few weeks off, my first question would be like, why? Don't you want to see your grandkids? Did I do something wrong? Why do you not want me? I want to know, and we won't know until trial, and she's on the stand. What did she ask? It'll be very interesting. And Gaelic Girl, my goodness, girlfriend, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much.
This conference, however, not much was able to be said at that due to it being an ongoing investigation. However, we did find out that court records were available. So right after that press conference, we went to the court clerk, we requested them and have them in our hands now. So again, very lengthy, lots of information, but we are learning more about this case, and we're able to confirm that really the heart of it was a custody battle between Veronica Butler and Tiffany Adams, which is the paternal grandmother in this case. The grandma didn't want Butler to have that visitation, and actually coming up on April 17th, we learned that a hearing was scheduled to occur. So just a couple of days from today, that was supposed to happen. And Butler's attorney said that Butler was likely to receive unsupervised visitation with her children at that hearing. And so we knew that was coming up, and this custody battle has been going on since 2019, according to this affidavit. So again, that was with Tiffany Adams and Veronica Butler, and really just the heart of this case. And so usually when Butler she'd have supervised visitation with her children on the weekends, and usually she would bring a court-appointed person with her, and usually the court ordered Adams to bring a woman by the name of Cheryl Brune with her. And so on this Saturday that Butler went missing and her car was found, she planned to take Brune. However, Adams told her to take someone else, that Brune wouldn't be available. So she ended up taking Jillian and Kelly. So it turns out, though, later on, Brune said that she was available. However, Adams, the grandmother that was also arrested, told her that she should take a couple weeks off of visitation so Adams could question the children, just kind of how Butler's supervisors were whenever they were doing visitations.
Okay, so are we getting the gist of this? Panhandle Clampett, Tiffany Adams, is running the show. This bitter custody battle has been going on for years and years and years. So she was on a first name basis with the woman that was put in charge of supervising the visitation. Some people ask, why the supervision? It is because of the allegations of SA, the verified abuse from the turkeys at great grandma's that were pecking the kids, and the dog bite. Even Veronica herself said she should be supervised. We have a lot of love in here. Y'all are making me blush. Thank you so much.
We found that out, and so we know that Saturday morning that Butler was planning to go to pick up her children. They were going to go to a birthday party, and so Jillian Kelly was with her, the court-appointed supervisor, and they were going from Hugoton, Kansas, and they were planning on going to Four Corners, and they ended up, the car was found 5 miles north of that, Highway 95 and Road L. We went out there earlier today. Very rural area, no buildings around, just road and not much of anything else. So that's where the car was found abandoned. And we're learning more about what that scene looked like in the area. We're now knowing that there was blood. Butler's glasses were found, a broken hammer. And then we're also finding out that there was a pistol magazine in Jillian Kelly's purse. So looking like she brought a pistol with her. However, the pistol was not recovered. So that's just some more information on the scene of where they found that abandoned car. And now, really what happened after they found that car, it's still a little unclear. But what we're learning is that there was a property owned by someone by the name of Jamie Beasley. We know that at that site, there was a hole that was dug, filled back in, and then it was covered with hay. And this was a little over 8 miles away from where that car was abandoned. So that was another area that we're keeping our eye on. Again, I'm just going through this, lots of information. So another really big thing in this case is OSBI interviewed Cora and Cole Twombly's daughter, 16-year-old. They interviewed her on April 3rd, and they learned through that interview that she overheard group conversations related to Butler not protecting children from Veronica Butler's brother, saying there was sexual abuse allegation. And so the daughter, she was told that Adams Colum, which is Adam's boyfriend, Cora and Cole were involved in the deaths of Butler and Kelly. Now, we're also getting a name of Paul Grice, and I've had some.
I think Paul Bryce is soon to be charged with something. Let me explain why. They had 5 tasers. 4 of them were involved in the ambush. Who was the 5th one for? Think about it. What, you just need an extra stun gun? No, there's going to be more charges. There's a lot of people involved in this. And in my opinion, the 16-year-old is a hero for doing what needed to be done, and that's called telling the truth. Think about all the children whose lives have been turned upside down. We have the two children that the custody battle was around. Their daddy's in rehab. Their mom is dead. Their grandma's in jail. Grandma's boyfriend is in jail. Jillian Kelly, who was there just to fill in. 4 children without a mama. Then you have Cole and Cora Twombly. Their 16-year-old daughter. She's without a mom and a dad and everything she knows. Fun fact about Cora, I saw that in going through court documents. In the year 2000, her name was Twombly. So either she's a relative of Cole's or she's married into that family before. Nothing in this case would shock me. And on top of everything, Jillian's 4 children are without a mama. And at this time, they're without a daddy because he's in the hospital due to extreme grief, which has taken a physical toll on him. So he's been hospitalized. We have a lot of rain going in here. Thank you, Suds, for the super sticker. We have a lot of love. We have a lot of gifted memberships. Let's take a second and hear the music. For those of you that are new, love that you're here. Just a little something we do to celebrate when it rains. Again, I believe the 16-year-old is a hero for telling the truth about what she overheard.
People reach out to me, who is this person? We haven't heard anything specific, no arrest with Paul Grice. I did call and reach out to OSBI today after seeing this name in the affidavit. And right now, all they're able to tell me is there's no other suspects in this case at this time. So that's a name we're going to be watching out for to see if this person was involved in this case, because the name does come up a couple times in the affidavit. So again, in that interview with the 16-year-old daughter, we also learned that those 4 suspects, along with Grice, were part of an anti-government group, and it had a religious affiliation, and this group is called God's Misfits. We know there was regular meetings that were held at the Twombly's home, and so this is another part of it, and something we hope to continue to follow is really, what is this group, and do they know about this, and really their role in this case. We also know that that morning where Veronica and Jillian went missing, the Twomleys told their daughter that they were going on a, quote, mission, and that they would not be home. And when they got back, they came back, they took a pickup truck, and when they got back, they asked their daughter to clean out the interior of it. And of course, the daughter said what happened, and parents said things didn't go as planned, but they would not have to worry about Butler again. And
okay, old girl's driving, so she's all over the place. But listen to what was said. They get back, they want the 16-year-old to clean up. They want her to clean the truck. How grim is that? Like a normal person, she goes, what happened? They said things didn't go as planned, but we'll never have to worry about Veronica Butler ever again. So now you're off babysitting duty. Get out there and clean the truck. Listen to that again, because my face fell off when I read it.
That morning where Veronica and Jillian went missing, the Twomleys told their daughter that they were going on a, quote, mission and that they would not be home. And when they got back, they came back, they took a pickup truck, and when they got back, they asked their daughter to clean out the interior of it. And of course, the daughter said what happened. And parents said things didn't go as planned, but they would not have to worry about Butler again. And the daughter asked, too, why did Jillian Kelly die if she wasn't really involved in this? And the parents are saying that she wasn't innocent as she supported Butler as well. Now, the daughter did ask if bodies were put into a well, and the parents said, quote, something like that. Let's see, anything else that we want to touch on? Again, we have this full court document on our website where you can read it in full. Again, there's a lot to it, still trying to uncover a lot. Now, we know bodies still haven't been identified. OSBI, we're waiting for the medical examiner's office to examine those bodies. However, when asked today at the press conference, we asked, is there a chance Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly could still be alive? And they said there's no chance. They're offering their condolences today, so looks like it's indicating that they are dead. But again, those bodies, still no confirmation, no identification. We're hoping to get that news soon, and OSBI says that's going to be the next steps with this case, is identification and then releasing the cause and manner of the death. We also learned today that the first court appearance is set for Wednesday morning. That's something else we're going to be looking for. Take a look at my notes and make sure there's nothing else I wanted to touch on. Again, this is back, like the custody battle. There's stuff dating all the way back from 2019.
Okay. I understand where the reporter's coming from by saying, and she's a reporter out of Amarillo, Texas. She's cute as a bug's ear, I think. She's doing a really good job. I'm super impressed by the daughter for doing the right thing. She could have been scared into submission and not said a word. But the reporter asking the authorities, is there a chance Veronica and Jillian could still be alive? And they're like, no, there's not a chance. Now, let me tell you something. That is something only a couple of people would ask. One is Jennifer Coffindaffer. The other one is Lisa K. Ruitz. Let me explain why I'm saying that. On my community tab, she decides she's going to answer a question from one of our friends. I marked the name out. I put on the community tab, this is more twisted than we could ever imagine. One of our friends said, doesn't the one couple have hogs? If so, I pray they didn't feed them to the hogs. Here comes Lisa K. Ruitz. No. Okay. I don't know exactly what she's answering about feeding them to the hogs or if they had hogs. But let me explain something. They have hogs. They have hogs on the farm, and there are wild hogs in the area. But the old stranger, Lisa K. Ruitz looking ass, responds to one of our good friends with a no. So the crown has been passed, my friends. This week's Idiot of the Week goes to Lisa K. Ruiz. And it's only Tuesday. Damn. All right, this is some of the custody paperwork. I'm not about to read all 27 pages of it, but this gives us a little glimpse into what was going on. Wrangler, who is Veronica's, what's the word people use now? Baby daddy? There he is. That's him. Panhandle Clampett, there she is with her boyfriend, both accused of murder, kidnapping, and conspiracy. That's his mama. This is just part of what went on. Wrangler's first witness was Alana Gould, a child protective service worker with the Oklahoma Department of Human Services. Ms. Gould testified to 3 referrals made to DHS in 2019 to 2020 against Wrangler, involving accusations of neglect, abuse, or harm to CR. That is their oldest child, their son. The findings by DHS in each and every one of the referrals were that the allegations were unsubstantiated. There's also another document that attaches this that says not just unsubstantiated, but unfounded. And there's a lot of documentation. Additionally, Ms. Gould testified DHS reports reflected there was no evidence of bruising or other marks on CR to support the accusations. On cross-examination, she testified that when she asked CR what choking meant, he said his mom, Veronica, had told him to say it. Now, the children were interviewed by several people that know how to talk to children. This is a huge problem. When under oath, she testifies that the son said his mother told him to say it. So we see what's going on here. As reflected in Plaintiff's Exhibit 15, and by her own admission, Veronica was responsible for at least 5 of the reports to DHS or to the Kansas authorities accusing Wrangler of abusing CR. None of the reports of investigations reflect any corroborating witnesses who could substantiate Veronica's accusations. Veronica admitted she had not provided any photographs, even though she claimed to have some of the alleged bruising to CR's neck. Ms. Gould testified one DHS report reflected the investigator witnessed CR come running in the house and was excited to see his dad, throwing himself on his dad, hugging him, and telling him he missed him and loved him. The worker found everything appeared to be appropriate with the father and the children. Wrangler's next witness was the sheriff of Cimarron County. Veronica made several allegations of neglect or abuse of the children by Wrangler and made requests for civil standbys during custodial exchanges. But There were never any substantiated claims based on those requests. In fact, matters reached a point where the sheriff informed Veronica his office would no longer supervise the visitation exchanges. Let's talk about that. When the sheriff says, "We are not going to any more of your child exchanges," that's because Veronica, may she rest in peace, had cried wolf too many times. We said on the show yesterday, children are not property. So there's a lot of questions. People are like, why weren't the police there? Why weren't the police there? This is what happens when you make up false allegations. And it is proven that Veronica, like I said, may she rest in peace, made up false allegations against Wrangler. Wrangler's next witness was a rancher, neighbor Larry Sauls. Mr. Sauls keeps some cattle on Wrangler's place and thus goes over there daily to care for his cattle. He witnessed Wrangler taking care of the children when they were in Wrangler's custody. He had opportunities to witness Wrangler's interactions with the children in Wrangler's home. He testified his home was clean and well kept with food in the cabinets. The children never appeared to be fearful of Wrangler. His testimony was, if I could scroll back up, Wrangler's a good father. He's always with these kids. And I call Cole Colt. Him and his sister, they feed cake to my cows there by the fence, and Wrangler's always there. I mean, they're not out by themselves. I haven't seen any of that. He's always watching them. When called in Wrangler's case in chief, Veronica admitted much of the evidence against her that demonstrated it was not in the best interest of the children for her to remain the primary custodian. For example, she admitted that she agreed to shared custody and that despite having made all the referrals to DHS alleging Wrangler was abusing CR, she never sought any emergency orders. So she never tried to get a protective order. She never took the children to see a doctor. These are all allegations. She admitted that in addition to the referrals to DHS in Oklahoma, she made 2 reports to Kansas authorities, and those reports were likewise unsubstantiated. So there's a lot going on in the custody case. And I mean a lot. Bitter doesn't even touch it. But on top of that, you've cried wolf this many times, and you're messing with some crazy ass people. This is a little snippet as to what they subscribe to.
No God's Hawk joined this mission.
People think I would never be good enough. I would never be clever enough. I don't know if I could learn all the culture or whether I could take, but get on a team of people that love the Lord, love people, and trust Him to find a way. And He has always used weak in consistent people who know how to get forgiveness and press on. So I say that things because there's the wicked one would tell people, well, there's all those lost people and they need people, but I've never won anybody myself in where I live. So how could I even think about doing it in China or Saudi Arabia or somewhere? And that's why I keep coming back to a team, and you grow in these things. You develop.
Essentially, it sounds like discipleship to me.
I guess that's the word for it. Yeah.
Well, and I also like how you're really alluding to this kind of myth that there are some out there who are the heroes of the story, and we're not gifted that way, so we don't have a part to play. Really, yeah, that run of the mill, ordinary type, unassuming misfits, I call them.
Kat has a question. What is he talking about? This is what they call God's misfits. How he takes misfits and they bring in disciples to help with their cause. And this is kind of what they prescribe to.
Because that describes myself. I was homeschooled all my life. I was incredibly introverted. Introvertism is great to have, but at my stage of life, I couldn't make a conversation with anyone till I went on my first Teen Mania Ministries mission trip with Ron Lewis, Acquire the Fire, and went to Russia. And I was forced into positions that I had to kind of open my mouth as these Russian guys kept getting closer. My American space was disappearing, you know.
Right.
Smelled of vodka, and they're friendly enough, Vladimir and whoever else. But I didn't think I could be used. I was just some kid. I got my good enough degree later, my GED, and bought a one-way plane ticket to China. And I'm still that unassuming misfit, and somehow God wants to use me. I'm amazed at that almost every day.
Yeah, if you want to be used badly enough and you're teachable, you're hungry to keep upgrading, the Lord will take that.
Yeah.
Do something wonderful with it.
Missions Pulse. Know God.
No, thank you. No, thank you. This whole God uses misfits and we make our own tribe is ridiculous. Dude said, well, after hearing this, Wrangler is who needs to have his children back with him. It's gonna be a long row for Wrangler to hoe to get his children back. The courts are the ones that sent him to the rehab. It wasn't voluntary. Because I went through his paperwork. But considering how this has gone down, I just don't know, especially since Oklahoma is so against kinship adoption. We saw it in the Athena Brownfield case. I don't see how Wrangler would know what was going to happen or the plan, because for the first 30 days of rehab, he wasn't allowed any communication with anyone on the outside. You know what they say about, sobriety? No convo with the old friends. Well, that includes his mama, but more will come out in that. Again, nothing in this case surprises me. And I mean nothing. I do think there's going to be more suspects. I do agree with this gentleman that was on News Nation this morning.
Court documents showed that the suspects were all part of that anti-government religious group that I mentioned off the top called God's Misfits. Is this a group that was ever on your radar?
So this is not a group that was on my radar, but what we're seeing now is these domestic extremist groups pop up with the belief that the establishment is overarchingly corrupt. So undoubtedly, they believed in this child custody dispute that they could not get a fair break from the judge, and that they were going to take matters in their own hands.
So in your experience, how does this change the nature of an investigation when the FBI learns that suspects accused of murder are affiliated with a group such as this?
So, Marky, what they'll be looking at is there a greater conspiracy? Were there other members of the group that knew that this was going to happen, conspired to help them make this happen, to include financial resources or helping dispose of the bodies. So the investigation continues, and the FBI will assist local law enforcement because the murder charge is the most egregious charge, obviously.
And
Not just one murder charge, hombre. Two. 4 people charged with 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and conspiracy. Now, we're here to have conversations and talk about these cases. Lisa Durr said, I call them devil's criminals. Me too. Me too. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe Wrangler, once he gets done with his stint in rehab, should get his children back. And put a 2 if you say, hell to the no, Wrangler. You're part of the problem, Wrangler. Flip Flop says 2. Amanda Grace, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Chloe Jade, 2. Angel P, 2. JTB, 2. We're all mad here, 2. Mermaid spelled it out. Hail to the no, no. No.
I also wanted to bring up the fact that Veronica Butler was in the middle of a custody battle with her children's grandmother, who is now one of the 4 suspects. Josh, I wanted to play a bit of sound for you because Butler's friend, Buffy Schooley, spoke exclusively to our Chris Cuomo last night. She said she knew it had to do with something with this bitter custody battle as soon as she learned her friend was missing. Take a listen to what she had to say.
She had been going through a terrible battle for quite some time. I didn't know all the other parts about her getting harassed and threatened. We didn't talk about that much in our conversations, but I know that she was fighting for her children.
Josh, how do custody battles shift the focus and solvability of an investigation like this?
Well, in the solvability, you have a motive. It was clear from the court affidavit that the grandmother wanted greater control of and custody of those children. And when you look at the God's Misfits and their ideology, plus the purchases, and then of course the crime scene, you can easily determine that there was violence perpetrated, which certainly law enforcement did.
Oh, yeah. There was definitely violence perpetrated. I keep saying the same thing over and over, trying to hit this home. How the hell do you break a hammer? They had 5 tasers, 4 stun guns. They bought burner phones and then some. They planned to throw an anvil through the windshield to make it look like an accident. Here is the issue for me. Does Wrangler deserve a chance to be back in his children's lives? I say time will tell. Once he gets out of rehab, he's got a place to go because obviously the old farm isn't occupied right now because Panhandle Clampett is in the clink, and so's her boyfriend. So are her friends. But there's not just 4 of them, my friends. There is a lot of people that are involved with this Panhandle cult. I say protect the children's identity, new places, peoples, and things, and slowly introduce in other people. And when I mean other people, I mean people they knew from before. I worry the most, to be quite honest, about the 16-year-old that spoke about having to clean the blood out of the truck when she was told things didn't go as planned, but that Veronica Butler would never be a problem again. She needs protection. And someday the children are going to know that their mama is dead, their daddy went half crazy, grandma's in jail, boyfriend's in jail, all over fighting about them. And I hope they have really good therapy, because I would never want these babies to ever blame themselves for what these sick asses did.
So you start with the basis of the fact that there is a motive to conduct this crime.
And just a few seconds left. I mean, now that we have 4 arrests, 2 bodies, what will next steps look like in this case today and in the days to come?
So the investigation will continue. Certainly, they have cell phone records to go through. They'll be looking at greater conspiracies. I mentioned earlier, are there other folks a part of God's Misfits that either knew or conspired to help make this happen? And so those interviews and investigative leads will go on.
And we'll see if we also get a positive ID from that medical examiner's office here this week as well. Josh School, always good to have you. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks.
It won't take them too long. Again, I've got 2 words for you. Broken hammer. Couldn't even begin how to think how you break a damn hammer. Couldn't even think about it. Absolutely crazy. And I can't wait for the nitty gritty to come out, even though it's going to be gut wrenching to hear. I have a strong inkling that Panhandle Clampett is the one that orchestrated everything and probably didn't do any of the dirty work. And I do believe more people are going to be charged, unless they're given some sort of proffer agreement for their cooperation. But this whole sovereign nation, you can't touch me. At the beginning of the show, we went through it. We're going to go through it right now. Something that they did not learn in elementary school.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One nation under God. Even Texas doesn't get away with that shit. That's crazy. Critter Watcher, welcome to the channel. So glad you're here, and thank you so much for the super sticker. Oddly, sovereign citizen Granny was willing to enter the court system for custody. We will see more sovereign citizen nonsense on Wednesday representing their name rather than responding to their name. You know what? That is so right. You're a sovereign citizen. What a great point. You want to call yourself God's misfit, and you're a sovereign citizen, yet you're having to manipulate through the courts to get custody of your grandchildren. So you're not that damn sovereign. No such thing. Great point. Amazing point.
This is not the only similarity between the Oklahoma suspects and the cultists in Waco. I mentioned it earlier, but the probable cause affidavits show that it's the arrest.
Baishfield never lets me down. I knew that she was going to try to find some parallel between the Koresh clan and what's going on in the Panhandle, which, by the way, is targeted. It's targeted. I'm not saying that makes it better, but it's targeted. It's a targeted attack. They were going straight after Veronica and whoever was with her to prevent them from getting the children. This is not a Koresh situation. This is not a Tim McVeigh situation. This was targeted. But thank you, Baishfield.
Affidavits, they show that everybody now in custody belongs to a religious / anti-government group called God's Misfits. I'd not heard of them before, so we did a little digging, and I want to bring in Miranda Ijoldi. She lives in Veronica and Jillian's hometown of Hugoton, Kansas, and she knows the two women and their families personally. Miranda, thank you so much, and my condolences go out to you and everyone who knew Veronica and Jillian. This has got to be such an incredibly difficult time. I wanted to get your reaction to the arrests that these particular 4 people were brought into custody.
I think the main reaction was relief. We were relieved to finally have a resolve on the situation.
But surprised at the people in particular who were arrested? Did you think that 4 people would be arrested, despite the fact, the rumors that the grandma had such a cantankerous relationship, not only with her ex-daughter-in-law, they weren't really married, but, you know, common law daughter-in-law. And many in the town said she was very, very, she was scary. That's how they referred to her. They said she was scary.
Yeah. I wasn't personally surprised about the number of people that they arrested. I didn't know who the other players were going to be, but I think I, along with a large number of people in the area, realized that it was going to be Tiffany and Tad, but I'm not surprised that there were more people.
Well, I mean, I'm the big dummy. I said it's going to be some of her ranch hands. And she was probably sitting at home. Remember the original story from Panhandle Clampett? She said she lost track of time and couldn't go meet him because she was planting sunflowers. And I agree with Lisa Wilson. And I agree with Kimberly Mann. Kimberly Mann said the sovereign crap ain't gonna work, in my opinion. No, it never does. Lisa Wilson said, I bet Granny pooped her pants when she saw the SWAT team pulling in her yard. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall. Me too. Bet she was shitting bricks when she saw the SWAT team pull up. I did see Wendy ask, what is this, the A-team? Let me tell you what, Oklahoma loves to use their equipment. That's between me and all of you. They love it. Hell, we had a thing in Broken Arrow over the weekend. And this mom called the police on her grown son. And I mean grown son, probably older than me. Broken Arrow police showed up. Had the satellites up on top. You know, the SWAT cars. The whole neighborhood could hear. Come out with your hands up. This is the Broken Arrow police. Come out with your hands up. It's a wonder I didn't hear it from here. They love to use their equipment. I have no problem with it.
That were part of it because it was impossible to pull that off in the window that they had in the broad daylight by themselves. There was no way they could have done it by themselves.
Do you know this name, Paul Grice? Is there any talk around town of who this fifth person is who's mentioned as part of the conspiracy, but not in the arrest lineup?
We have heard rumblings that there's a fifth person.
Damn right there's a fifth person, because you don't buy 5 tasers and 5 stun guns for 4 people. Someone's making a deal. You got to make a deal with the devil to get the pigs to squeal, right? Crystal Fullaway said, why does everybody plant flowers when people go missing? That's what I want to know. Well, I'm just planting sunflowers. I lost track of time. Sounds like Candace Wells. I lose track of time when I'm having fun. Really? Gotta be kidding me. Fucking planting flowers when you know you gotta be somewhere.
You just said the name. I had not heard the name yet. No.
And then what about the Twombleys? What did you know about Cole and Cora Twombly? Anything?
I would say that I know that they are extremely right-wing, that they have...
Shut up, homegirl. I don't want to hear extremely right-wing, extremely left-wing. They're freaks, man. They're freaks. You understand? They're freaks. That's the only label. They are the devil's rejects. These people are not to be in our society.
Anarchist vibes. I mean, they feel like and they talk like anarchists. Definitely anti-government. Definitely pro-God, pro-Christ, but I wouldn't call them Christians.
And what about this group, God's Misfits? It was new to me, but I don't spend a lot of time in that very remote part of the Oklahoma Panhandle.
Hang on. What did I just hear? Beigefield, which is what we call her on here because she only wears that color. She goes, this is new to me because I don't spend a lot of time in the Oklahoma Panhandle. Shall we start a GoFundMe to send Beigefield down to the Panhandle for her next vacation? You know what else is new to her? Bright colors. The color red, pink, navy. Hang on, I have to hear that again. I missed that before. What you want to take? And by the way, today's the anniversary of the Dust Bowl. You want to take you a dirt bath? No pun intended. Fuck, she say? Hang on.
They have anarchist vibes. I mean, they feel like and they talk like anarchists. Definitely anti-government. Definitely pro-God, pro-Christ, but I wouldn't call them Christians.
And what about this group, God's Misfits? It was new to me, but I don't spend a lot of time in that very remote part of the Oklahoma Panhandle. So, do you know about God's Misfits? Had you heard about this group before?
Holy hell. Okay, I did hear it correctly. I don't spend a lot of time out in the Oklahoma Panhandle. Kelly Miller. Fellow Okie, she said, no, really? I would have never guessed she's never been to our panhandle. Holy, well, I already gave the award away to Lisa K. Ruitz, but I mean, had I caught that earlier today, Beigefield would have got the idiot of the week. But it's only Tuesday.
Is it big? Is it just these people?
I don't think it's just those people, but I had never heard it have a name. There was no name for it. It was just a group of people. And I think I would liken them to feeling like they had God's divine power blessed to them. These are words that they've used. But also feeling like the government was here to steal that from them and use whatever force they had to intervene with their rights and their will, their God-given rights.
Last question. Do you know anything about this teenage daughter of Cora Twombly, the 16-year-old who obviously...
I really do not want Beigefield digging too much into the 16-year-old. It doesn't take a few minutes on the internet to figure out who she is. She's brave and she did the right thing. She told the authorities what she knew. And think about it. March 30th, she was asked to clean up the truck. She said, what happened? She's told to STFU, and that Veronica Butler will never be a problem again. Just Cat said God's Misfits. Oklahoma's answer to the cornbread mafia? Sounds like it. I've never heard of their asses. I'm going to ask about that at church on Sunday. Could you imagine me in Sunday school at the First Baptist Church at Glenpool, Oklahoma? Any y'all ever heard of God's Misfits? Shit, they'd run me right across Highway 75. They'd feed me to some damn pigs. Like, are you a damn mind?
We're not mentioning because she's a minor. She's only listed by initials in the arrest affidavits, but she sure did give up the goods on all four of them, and in particular her own mother, and I think, Cole would be her stepfather. Do you know anything about her?
No, I don't.
Had you heard anything about her?
I had only heard like rumblings and stuff that people had posted online, which I don't tend to trust. What other people, I would consider it a rumor or something like that. So no, I hadn't heard anything other than rumors about her playing in the situation. So,
do you expect, Miranda, there'll be more arrests?
Yes, I do think there will be more arrests.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you for watching.
What a dipshit. She goes, do you think there'll be more arrests? She goes, yeah, I do. You do? Isn't that what she said? Who thinks there's going to be more arrests? And there are many, many, many clips out about the suspect's daughter that told what she knows. I say, leave her alone. I do think there's going to be more arrests. But I think one of the people named in the probable cause affidavit had cut him a pretty sweet deal. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not the fifth taser and fifth stun gun. And I was corrected in the chat. I was asked, are you talking about taser or stun gun? Because there's a difference. Yes, there's a difference. And the big difference is the number 4 and the number 5. You have 4 people involved in the ambush, murder, kidnapping, and conspiracy. But you have a 5th taser and a 5th stun gun. What to do? Well, let's close it down with this. Oklahoma has been called God's country for many, many, many years. And these people tried to put the cherry on the top of the hot fudge sundae, but with me, it fell short because I think they're all pieces of shit.
Right outside of this one church town, there's a gold dirt road to a whole lot of nothing. Got a deed to the land, but it ain't my ground. This is God's country. We pray for rain and thank Him when it's falling, 'cause it brings a grain and a little bit of money. We put it back in the plate, I guess that's why they call it God's country. I saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs running. Saved by the sound of a pin found Dixie whistle in the wind, that'll get you heaven bound. The devil went down to Georgia, but he didn't stick around. This is God's country. We turn the dirt and work until the week's done. We take a break and break bread on Sunday, then do it all again, 'cause we're proud to be from God's country. I saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs running. Saved by the sound of a been found Dixie whistle in the wind, that'll get you heaven bound. The devil went down to Georgia, but he didn't stick around. This is God's country. God's country. I don't care what my headstone reads or what kind of pine wood box I end up in. When it's my time, lay me 6 feet deep in God's country. I saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs running. Saved by the sound of a been found Dixie whistle in the wind, that'll get you heaven bound. The devil went down to Georgia, but he didn't stick around. This is God's country. Yeah, I saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs running. Saved by the sound of a been found Dixie whistle in the wind, that'll get you heaven bound. The devil went down to Georgia, but he didn't stick around. This is God's country.
Woo! Gives you a little taste of what we deal with around here, unless you're in certain areas. Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and like a few places. Much love to you all, and I'm not going to let you down. I promised 2 for 2. But the second show is actually going to be in Discord. We're going to have a Discord live today, and I will catch up tomorrow. I promise. Well, I can't say promise. Should I cross my fingers? OJ has got his paws crossed, so we're good there. I will do 2 shows tomorrow. I'm going to catch up because I have to do an update. It's actually not even a case update, but it's about a case we have been covering immensely since 2021, and that is the case of Summer Wells. I think we're going to hit that early in the morning. I don't know, you guys tell me the time. And then we have some things that we have got to discuss tomorrow about Sebastian, because his father has been lied to immensely. It won't get me many brownie points. Probably going to get me talked about like shit, but that's okay. Like Bonnie Raitt says, let's give them something to talk about. So if I don't see you over in Discord or one of the Facebook groups, just know we'll be back tomorrow, as always. You guys are the absolute best, and thank you so much for being here and keeping up with these cases with me, having real conversation, real talk, actually caring, because you guys do. You're always here for the right reasons. Chrissy said, I know there's not a lot going on, but can we talk about Monkey soon? Monkey is going to be on Thursday morning. Yep, I've got a lineup for you. As Nancy Grace says, all-star panel. Going to have an all-star panel on Thursday. All right, you guys are the absolute best. Thank you for being my friends, being here on the day-to-day, and just being the coolest people on the nasty YouTube streets. You guys have a great rest of your day.